A very good morning to all our Sports Today family members. And yes, the Ashes is well and truly on fire. Australia are leading 2-0 and are on the cusp of achieving something that they have not done in 22 years in England. Win an Ashes series here. 6 days later, they head to Leeds. But the fire that has engulfed the Ashes at this point in time is all because of one particular incident that took place on day 5 of the Lord's Test. It was the runout of Jonny Bairstow. Now, for context, what happened? You could see that Cameron Green bowled a bouncer down the leg side. Bairstow ducked and immediately decided to walk down the wicket, thinking it was the over end. But Carey immediately, Alex Carey, the Australian wicketkeeper, what happened? He just flung the ball, it hit the stumps, and he was out stumped, not run out. Now, because of that, there was a massive confrontation, and the scenes that followed after that, maybe after the match, during the match, was really ugly to say the least. Now, there have been some very interesting comments also that have been spoken about by Ben Stokes, by Pat Cummins, by Stuart Broad, by the MCC members, and also by a lot of other individuals at stake. Ben Stokes. For a certain amount of time, we all felt that the spectre of Headingley 2019 would haunt Australia again. Stokes was batting like a man possessed after the dismissal of Jonny Bairstow. 9 fours, 9 sixes, 155 glorious runs. But when he fell, the challenge ended. Australia won by 43 runs. He did mention that the run out at the stumping of Jonny Bairstow was the defining moment. He is very clear on this particular point. I am not disputing the fact that it is out. Stokes admitted that. Yes, he is not disputing that fact. But he goes on to add a lot of caveats saying that, okay, if the opportunity was given to me, looking at the atmosphere around Lords, I would have withdrawn the appeal. Now, this is a problem. Can Ben Stokes do the same thing in the 2019 World Cup when his bat inadvertently hit the ball and then it raced away to the boundary? Can he withdraw that? He couldn't have, because England would have lost the match by 1 run against New Zealand. When the same question was posed to Pat Cummins, he just gave a simple 2-word answer which was epic in its own way. Okay, the question was, Stokes was saying that he would withdraw the appeal. Pat Cummins, with a smile, just said, okay. This is why Pat Cummins, the leader, must be appreciated. Australia did nothing wrong. They did absolutely nothing wrong in trying to do what Jonny Bairstow did. And remember, this is not the first time that it has happened. Footages have emerged that earlier on day 3, Jonny Bairstow actually tried to run out Marnus Labuschagne in a similar way, but Labuschagne's feet was grounded and he was in the crease. So, the simple situation is, if the law does not suit England, the rest of the world are cheats. If it suits them, the whole world is at peace. This is the simple British doublespeak that Australia have always exposed in the Ashes, and 2023 is no different. Stump Mike was very active after that dismissal. Stuart Broad, of all people Stuart Broad, he came up and then told Alex Carey, you will be remembered for this. Now, this is incredibly rich coming from Stuart Broad. This is the same Stuart Broad who edged, there was a clear edge, and the umpiring blunder ensured that he could not be dismissed. And one more thing, it was Australia's foolishness that they had absolutely exhausted all their DRS reviews also. Stuart Broad nicking an outside edge delivery of Ashton Agar straight to Michael Clarke at Trent Bridge and putting on an Oscar-winning performance wherein he just fainting, I don't know whether if I hit it. Here, Stuart Broad is lecturing Alex Carey about this when he did nothing wrong. This is the problem. England are not possessed by the spirit of cricket. England are possessed by the spirit of delusion, because they always live in that bubble wherein they think, okay, we are the custodians of the law, we made the rules, we are always right, the rest of the world is wrong. This is where England always have been caught. And remember, the Australians do it a lot better. They are on top of England when it comes to sledging, when it comes to the spirit of the game. They're always on top of England. That's why you look at it, more series won, more matches won. Who has dominated the Ashes? Yes, it's always been Australia. Now, on the Jonny Bairstow incident, a lot of talk was directed towards Ravichandran Ashwin. I don't know for what, because Ashwin's run out at the non-strikers end in 2019 and subsequent support after that saw law changes. And remember, Lords, you remember Deepti Sharma and Charlie Dean? Here, the same situation, Ashwin has been dragged into this. However, on Twitter, Ashwin has made it very clear on the Jonny Bairstow incident. He said, "We must get one fact loud and clear. The keeper would never have a dip at the stumps from that far out in a test match unless he or his team have noticed a pattern of the batter leaving his crease after leaving a ball like Bairstow did. We must applaud the game smarts of the individual rather than skewing it towards unfair play or spirit of the game." It was simply brilliant awareness from Alex Carey. And I will give you a reason. I will give you, and I'll do a special video on this as to who might have been the mastermind behind all this. You will guess it right. In that video, I will reveal. I'll be doing a special video on the rules. Check out on that. Lords, home of cricket, because it houses the MCC, the custodians who create the law. Well, the custodians themselves went ugly when the Australian team were coming from the long room. You could see Usman Khwaja and David Warner, the MCC members, had an altercation with the Australians. Not physical, it was verbal altercation. They were labelled as cheats, they were booing. And remember, this is the same MCC that take the high moral ground. The Australians have complained rightfully, and most of the members who have been involved in this, they have been suspended from their membership pending an inquiry. Whatever happened, no sugarcoating on this. The MCC members, their actions towards the Australians was nothing short of disgraceful. And England better look themselves in the mirror when they have to see this, because it is tarnishing their image. Lords is supposed to be the place where the spirit of the game is you can say Lords is the venue where the spirit of the game is upheld to the highest value. In this case, it just was not. MCC better have a look in the mirror. Another surprising comment. Brendan McCullum has said that he will not have a beer anytime soon with the Aussies. Now, this is very perplexing, because this is the same Brendan McCullum in 2006 during the New Zealand versus Sri Lanka match at Wellington. Sangakkara had just hit a century. He was celebrating. Muralidharan grounded the bat. He then came on to congratulate him, thinking that the ball was dead. But McCullum just caught the ball, whipped the bails off, and Muralidharan was run out. Sangakkara and Muralidharan and the Sri Lankan team were very perplexed. They did not appreciate what had happened. But the rule was the same. McCullum had done it because the ball was not dead. Here, this kind of action clearly states that Brendan McCullum, unfortunately, even he has been possessed by the spirit of delusion, not by the spirit of the game, because if he had seen what had happened, the ball wasn't dead. So that is why McCullum's statement that I will not be having a beer anytime soon with the Aussies kind of speaks to the fact that yes, England now will have to really shape up or ship out. Because remember, a series loss, and that too a big series loss, could have repercussions on Brendan McCullum's baseball approach. That will be very interesting to see. For Australia, this man has really been a brave cricketer. Nathan Lyon with a torn calf, he came out, added 15 runs with Mitchell Starc. Despite Nathan Lyon's absence, Australia won the Lord's Test. And because of that, Nathan Lyon is not going to feature in the remaining 3 Ashes tests. Pat Cummins confirmed it in the press conference that yes, Nathan Lyon is no longer going to be part of the Ashes. So who's going to replace him? Potentially Todd Murphy. Todd Murphy, remember, bowled well in the India series. He troubled Virat Kohli a lot. 14 wickets in 4 matches. It's been a good start for Todd Murphy, and maybe he could be picked in the Leeds test. Who knows? Today is a vital game for the Netherlands because they are going to be alive in the ICC World Cup qualifiers. If they do not win their match against Oman, then Zimbabwe and Scotland will have a direct shootout for the second place. Remember, only one spot is remaining in the ICC World Cup. Sri Lanka, by beating Zimbabwe, they have sealed their spot. Now it is going to be either of Zimbabwe, Netherlands or Scotland for the 10th spot. If Netherlands win today, then they have a crucial must-win encounter against Scotland. Scotland, on the other hand, they face Zimbabwe. If Zimbabwe wins against Scotland, that's it. Zimbabwe become the 10th team. It's become that close in the ICC World Cup qualifiers. This tournament is still recovering from West Indies not having qualified for the World Cup for the first time, and it was indeed a sad moment that the Caribbean nation just could not progress to the World Cup. The Indian team, the India women's cricket team, was announced for the ODI and T20I tours of Bangladesh, and very surprisingly, Renuka Singh, Richa Ghosh, Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Radha Yadav, all of these have been omitted from the squad. Now, what are the exact reasons? We do not know about it. It's a relatively new squad. There is a keeper from Assam called Uma Chetri. She did well in the ACC emerging tournament that recently happened in Hong Kong, where India won. So, Uma Chetri from Assam is one of the notable additions into the team, along with Yastika Bhatia, who is there as one of the keepers. Smriti Mandana, Harmanpreet Kaur, they'll be leading the team, but the omission of Renuka Singh and Richa Ghosh, it really begs the question, what is the selection criteria? Because remember, today you may see the announcement of the new head coach of the India women's cricket team. It could be Amol Mazumdar, it could be Tushar Arote, it could be John Lewis, it could be anybody else in that matter. So, today an announcement will be made on the India women's head coach position, and whether he or she will go for the tour of Bangladesh, that remains to be seen. So, Renuka Singh, one of the star Indian bowlers in that 1 year period from 21 to 22, she actually did well, but she's now finding herself out of the place along with Richa Ghosh. What wrong did Richa Ghosh do? All the omissions, there has been no explanation given. From cricket, let us shift our attention to other sports, and we are building up to Wimbledon. And can anybody stop Novak Djokovic? Because remember, Djokovic is now not just gunning for his 24th Grand Slam title, which will put him level with the likes of Margaret Court. He will also equal Roger Federer's tally of 8 Wimbledon titles if he does it. Carlos Alcaraz seems to be the only guy who can stop him. But remember, Alcaraz also suffered at the hands of Djokovic in the French Open. Djokovic is on course to complete yet another calendar slam. And remember, if he does that, boy, 24-25, if he does it this year, he is one of the greatest tennis players in the world. And Novak Djokovic, who can stop him? That is the major